As a further example, we're now going to consider a uniformly charged disk. So this disk basically has all of its charge uniformly distributed throughout its area. So the disk has a radius capital R, and we're interested in the electric field, total electric field, due to this uniform charge distribution at a distance x from its center. So the first task is to find a differential charge element. So that's what I have done here. We have a small area in which a charge dq is stored. So how do we calculate this amount of charge stored in this area? It's going to be dq, the surface charge density, sigma times dA. So dA is the area of this region where we have the charge dq stored. Now furthermore, when I go through this circle here, you can see that I will find electric field components due to each of the charge elements here at a distance x from the center, dE vectors. Due to the symmetry of this problem, I can always find a symmetric charge which will give an electric field component that exactly cancels out the electric field component of this charge on the y-axis. So basically, the y components of the electric fields will be canceling due to symmetry. So that's what I note here. The y component of the electric field, which is integral dEy, has to be equal to 0 due to symmetry. Now I can deal with the x component of the electric field, dEx. So how do I write the x component? So this dE, the electric field due to this charge, is k Coulomb's constant times dq, the charge stored here, divided by the distance between this charge element and point P, that is d squared, and then I'm taking the x component, so I have to multiply with cosine theta. So this x component is k, the charge dq that's creating the electric field, divided by distance squared, d squared, cosine theta. Now, what is this dA? Sigma dA is dq. So how do I calculate the area of this region? Now you can see that I have a thickness dr here on this ring. So one dimension is dr, the other dimension is due to a small angular variation d phi. So you can see that this is going to be, arc length here is going to be r times d phi. Actually, if you complete this angle to 2 pi, you get 2 pi r, which is the circumference. So this arc length is proportional to the angle d phi. So that's going to be basically r d phi. Therefore, the area of this region will be r dr d phi. Okay, so I can substitute that for dq, k Coulomb's constant multiplied with dq. dq is sigma dA. Sigma dA is r dr d phi. Then I have divided by d squared. And this is the differential radial distance dr. So that's not to be cancelled with d. And then I have this angle cosine theta. So that's basically the angle with respect to the x-axis. So I'm taking the x component here. Okay, so here I have substituted for dq sigma r dr d phi. And if I look at the tangent of this angle, tangent theta, you can see this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. Tangent theta is basically r divided by x. So I can read that from this right triangle. It is r divided by x. So what is dr then? So I can see that r is x tangent theta. dr is, x is the distance with respect to the center point, so that's a constant, x secant square theta d theta. That's the derivative of tangent. So for x, I have x is equal to d cosine theta. How do I see that here? So from this right triangle, cosine theta is x divided by d, the hypotenuse. So x is equal to d cosine theta. So wherever I see d square, I can write x square over cosine square theta. Okay, now I'm ready to write my dEx again. dEx is equal to, now I have k sigma, and then I have r. R is x tangent theta, so I substitute x tangent theta for r. And what is dr? dr is x secant square theta d theta, x secant square theta d theta. Then I have d phi. Then I have cosine theta divided by d square. Well, d square is x square over cosine square theta. So if I write here x square over cosine square theta, I already had a cosine on top. This will become cosine cube theta. Okay, so let's see what this simplifies to. Now count the number of x's here. I have one x here, the second x here. So these two will make x square. I already have an x square at the bottom. So this x square will cancel these two x's. So I'm left with no x's here. On the other hand, if I look at the angles, secant square theta multiplied with cosine cube theta. Okay, so secant is 1 over cosine, so this basically is nothing but 1 over cosine square theta. Cosine 1 over cosine square theta and cosine cube theta will give me basically just 1 cosine theta remaining. So this will get rid of this cube. There will be only a cosine theta remaining. On the other hand, you can see that I have tangent theta multiplied with cosine theta. That's sine over cosine. So these two will give me a sine theta. Alright, so I will be left with k sigma tangent theta times cosine theta is sine theta d theta d phi. Okay, and on the other hand, I want to note that this angle theta will be varying between 0, the center point here, all the way up to theta max. So what is theta max? So let's see this maximum angle theta here. The maximum angle will have a cosine which is equal to, cosine theta is equal to x divided by this hypotenuse. So what is this hypotenuse? This is a right triangle here. It's going to be square root of x square plus capital R square, where capital R is the radius of the disk. So this is going to be square root of x square plus capital R square. Okay, so let's note that here cosine theta maximum is x divided by square root of x square plus capital R square. All right, now we're ready to integrate to find the total electric field. X component, Ex, is going to be equal to, now the first integral is over phi, and phi will vary between 0 and 2 pi to cover the whole ring here. So integral d phi 0 to 2 pi will just give us a 2 pi. So let me note that here, 0 to 2 pi integral d phi is 2 pi. So this will give me a 2 pi k sigma integral from 0 to theta max of sine theta d theta, and the integral of sine is cosine minus cosine, so 2 pi k sigma cosine theta. This will be evaluated between not 0 and theta max, but theta max to 0 to account for the minus sign. Derivative of cosine is minus sine. So this gives us a 2 pi k sigma cosine 0 is 1 minus cosine theta max. All right. So here basically once again we have used integral d phi 0 to 2 pi is 2 pi. So that's where this 2 pi comes from. So this 2 pi comes from this integral. All right. So if I substitute for cosine theta max, x over square root of x squared plus r squared, and since I have noted that the y component of the electric field will be 0, then I'm ready to write the total electric field due to the uniformly charged disk at a distance x from the center, 2 pi k sigma 1 minus cosine theta max, which is x over x squared plus r squared square root in I hat direction. It's going to be given in newtons per coulombs in SI units. So that will be the total electric field due to the uniformly charged disk. Okay, so let's summarize what we did here. We have divided our disk to small regions with area dA. This dA we have determined to be equal to r d phi multiplied with dr. That's the area of this approximately rectangular region. And this phi angle varies between 0 and 2 pi in order to cover the full ring here. The contribution from all such rings will give us the total disk. And the angle theta basically varies between 0 to all the way up to theta max, where cosine theta max is x divided by square root of x squared plus r squared. Now, when I write the electric field due to this dq here, if I look at the symmetric dq, so if I go to this dq, for example, I would find that that would give me, so let's do that here. So if I go to the other side and find the symmetric dq, I would see that this dq would give me an electric field that's going to be giving a contribution that is symmetric, and it will have the same angle theta here, so that's the symmetric contribution. So you will see that the y components will be equal and cancelling out. So this will be also dE, and this will be dEy, and this will be dEy, and they will be cancelling out. So only the x components will add up. So that's when I go to the symmetric charge distribution. So I did not locate this properly here. Let's do this again. So I go to a symmetric charge that will be approximately in this region, and I will find that the electric field will be cancelling, the y components will be cancelling the y component of this one. Okay, so Ey is 0 due to symmetry. For Dex, I have k dq, the electric field created by this charge, divided by distance squared, d squared, multiplied with cosine theta gives me the x component. For dq, I substitute sigma dA, sigma r dr d phi. And for x, I substitute d cosine theta, or for d, I substitute x over cosine theta. So you can see that here cosine theta is x divided by d, and tangent theta is r divided by x. So r is x tangent theta, dr is x secant square theta d theta. X is the distance between the center point and point P, so that's a constant. So if I substitute that to Dex, k sigma r is x tangent theta, dr is x secant square theta d theta, d phi remains cosine theta divided by d square, which is x square over cosine square theta, which makes this cosine theta cosine cube theta. X squares cancel, secant square gives me 1 cosine theta remaining here. Cosine theta gets rid of this cosine theta in the tangent, giving me a sine. K sigma sine theta d theta d phi is to be integrated. D phi integral gives me 2 pi, so that's 2 pi k sigma integral 0 to theta max sine theta d theta. Integral of sine is minus cosine, so that changes the order of the limits. Theta max to 0 cosine theta is 1 minus cosine theta max. Cosine theta max is x divided by square root of x squared plus r squared. So when I substitute that here, I note that electric field only has an I hat contribution, only the x component, and it should be given in newtons per coulombs. So basically we're given that the surface charge density is sigma, which is equal to the total charge Q divided by the total area pi capital R square. So that's basically what we have here for the charge density.